Well, the first thing is to apologize for my language. No, my English is medium, and I promise to try my best version. We will try to keep the communication concise. Huh? Also, as a priority, we would like to thank the EUTIC organization for the invitation made to the PEDACRI research team from the University of La Laguna, especialmente to our college, Liz and Julian, for being the architect of our being here, entering into the subject that concerns us to work present. In this work, we speak of citizenship and as a system of powers and rights that allow everyone to inhabit the world, undoing the labyrinth of the engineers of power and transforming border into a space of coexistence. It implies a real globalization as opposite to financial or mercantile globalization. That is to say, it consists of the challenge of the civilization, of the 21st century to transform the world into the common home of the humanity. This definition focuses on the idea that citizenship is a system of values, rights, and transcend border and skips a world where coexistence and cooperation overcome the divisions imposed by power and financial interest. While this definition is poetic and aspirational, it's important to know that citizenship is a more conventional context referred to the legal and social status of being a member of a nation or political community. It implies rights and responsibilities within a special legal and political framework. Citizenship can also have connotations related to participation in political decision making at the civic life of a society. The definition we provide goes beyond citizenship and in the traditional sense, and is closer to a utopian vision of global citizenship. It may be an inspiring vision and an ideal to aspire to, but it's also important to remember that the citizenship in practice implies a series of rules, law, and government structure that vary from place to place. So bringing into a space for discussion where we can dialogue about that structure necessary to form a citizenship. But why bring a paper of citizenship to EUTIC? The challenge of information and communication technologies and citizenship are closely related in today's society in several ways. Access to information, one of the key challenges of the ICT is to ensure that all citizens have access to information. Citizens benefit from sorry, my dogs.
Son sus hijos.
Citizens benefit from the ICT when they have access to important data and resources to make informed decisions and participate in society. Civic participation. ICT offers tools to enhance civic participation. Citizens can get involved in government decision making through lines, platform, e-petition, and social network, which influence policy formation and democracy in general. Another point is digital alphabetization. One of the challenges for citizens is a digital alphabetization. That is the ability to understand, to use ICT effectively. Meeting this challenge is essential if citizens are to benefit fully from the opportunities offered by ICT. Privacy protection. Citizens are often concerned about online privacy and the security of the personal data. Privacy and cybersecurity challenges are critical issues that government and business must address to protect citizens' rights. And digital divide. The digital divide is a major challenge affecting citizens. Lack to access to ICT of the ability they use them can leave some citizens at a disadvantage in terms of educational and economic opportunity. Digital citizenship is the age of ICT. Digital citizenship has become an important concept. Citizens need to understand their role and responsibility online, including how to participate safely and ethical in the digital society. In short, ICT challenges have a significant impact on citizenship in terms of the access of the information, civic participation, digital education, and privacy issues. The relationship between these two concepts, the citizenship and the ICT, are central in modern life and how challenges in this area directly affect citizens and society as a whole. Well, now I give the tour to my colleague, María Daniela, to finish our presentation.
Buona Daniela. Buona Daniela.
Now my turn. Hi. Well, I will continue what Pedro was saying. Of course, if we want to talk about the new challenges that citizenship, the conceptualization of citizenship has to face, then we must necessarily talk about the conception of the ecological and the digital. What we have tried is to make an outline of the requirements of each one, digital citizenship and ecological citizenship, understanding that they are living elements and therefore in development and construction, both practical and theoretical. And as we all know, it's a very complex thing. The analysis contrasts variables such as territory, how we interact as citizens, ecological and digital, with the idea of territory, the presence of bodies that interact, human bodies, time, access, and the presence or actions of the state. So in those variables, we try to compare, we try to analyze what is required to formalize a concept of citizenship in these two areas. We begin the analysis of the ecological with the paradigm shift that the Earthrise photo meant to humanity. For those who don't know, it is a photo that was taken on the Earth on Apollo 8 expedition to space, and it brought what was called the perspective effect, which, in the words of Perez, was the chance of perceiving what was infinite, was nothing more than a fragile marble of life, protected by an atmosphere the thickness of a secret paper, floating in the abyssal immensity of the void. So regardless of the generational impact of this specific event, this awareness of living in a world with limited resources has continued to transform every aspect of the Western world. The complexity is, of course, that what we think ecological citizenship should be does not go hand in hand with what the international, the global, the cosmopolitan world think ecological citizenship should be. For this, of course, we have to review all the studies, the environmental summits that has been made in history, and that they like give a point to that that there's no way of giving a map of where or when the ecological footprint started. It's not a thing about two guilty parties. It's something that we have to acknowledge as a whole, as a global problem. So, of course, given that aspect, the territory, the idea of territory ends, finalizes, we cannot link it to a border space, and we cannot link it to a clear chronological time either, making it difficult to define it within the traditional ideas associated with citizenship. So ecological citizenship without cartography and without chronology entails a third challenge also, that is the strangeness. The ecological citizenship is committed to the environment impacts or mass impacts for the benefit of strangers in space and time. In Norton's words, future generations. So a citizenship of strangers, that means then to go beyond economic incentives or fear of punishment. A citizenship that affects not only the public, but also the private space by conforming itself as a citizenship of the everyday and the universal. Of course, we have to underline in this aspect the education, the importance of education, the reviewable contractuality, and a deliberately political dynamic project. So to try or to take the opportunity to actualize the Aristotelian son politikon in the ecoson. For the digital, a new challenge is of course given for the limited models of anthropological and Western citizenships, because similarly to what has been studied in the case of ecology, the hyperreality of the virtual are not mappable either. So we don't have territory. The pandemic gave the opportunity to intensify the digitalization of capitalism and to accelerate the transit from Homo sapiens to Homo invalidus, to how we interact in the deep web, in the web. The thing is that that idea that is accessible to all of us has been proved is not true. So if we don't have bodies that interact and we don't have universal access as universal rights claim, then what we confront ourselves is with limits more than a space to develop rights and obligations. That's one of the core things that are linked to citizenship. So we have body without space and time. There is, and with no relationship with the state. Hyperreality seems, in spite of atoms, to be just another user at the service of the companies that program the metaverse. Of course, there is need to be a work to be done to transform or to give space to the ethics and the morals in both ecological and digital citizenship that works in the end about the idea of commitment, human commitment to the transformation of our spaces and to the respect of people as diverse humans. And that's what we conclude. We can't give, of course, a definition, an end definition of any of these two aspects, but we can, but we review it in a historical way so that we give importance to the idea of ethics and morals, not as a limiting space, but an expanding concept. Thank you. I don't know.
Que si escuchas y entiendes. Dani. Mada.
Yes,
Daniela?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Ahora vamos a escuchar las preguntas. ¿Hay preguntas? Est-ce qu'il y a des questions? Une question.
Well, thank you for. Well, I think a citizenship statement is a construction. I think. Well, there is digital literacy. We can teach. You can get. But what about the ecological citizenship? And can you put the two together at the same level? When can I get a digital citizenship? And when can I get the ecological citizen too? Can I get them together?
¿Entendiste la pregunta, Amada?
Sí, sí entendí la pregunta.
Ok. Pues contéstale a Nobel.
Yeah, the challenge is to answer in English. Sorry, we have to acknowledge the language barrier here, but thank you so much for your question. Of course, citizenship is a construction, and we can teach them or we can talk about them in separate ways. But at the end, the idea of citizen is a whole, and we live it as a whole. Of course, there are two areas. The web as a big space has rules and dynamics that are not the same ones as in the ecological and the environmental life that's in the real world. How we can, they are in the same level because they influence humans. I think they need to work in the same level. But of course, we have more, we have developed more the idea of environmental and ecological citizenship than digital, because the digital is just expanding right now. We have more rules in one area than in the others. Not rules, please excuse the traduction I'm trying to, because this is why the language barrier sometimes don't give us enough space. But of course, the actions that are required to have or to become a citizen, an ecological citizen, are more concrete than those that are required for a digital. I don't know that if that answers your question, but in some way, ethics, morals, education is the bridge where all is connected.
Thank you. Thank you. Il y a d'autres questions? Ok. Hay una pregunta.
En français. Je crois que notre contribution puisse ouvrir un espace de discussion sur la responsabilité éthique de la société et de la durabilité dans le modèle économique mondial en place. Et relationné totalement avec les tables rondes de les débats de la table et la ferme de la contribution de Catherine et Anne sur l'homme politique. Je crois que c'est très intéressant le débat entre l'homme politique et la despolitique
oui.
programmée. Mais Daniela, c'est une génération Z. Mais elle est totalement intégrée à la citoyenneté numérique, mais n'est déjà d'avoir un sens profond et un compromis avec la confrontation avec la citoyenneté verte.
Alors...
c'est curieux, l'étude de 86 activistes, la génération de 68, les mêmes. Mais je crois que c'est une contribution, la nôtre, qui prétend unifier la besoin de la interdisciplinarité et la transdisciplinarité, mais une orientation pédagogique de récupération de la culture politique perdue. Les nouvelles générations est profondément nécessité d'une vinculation d'une éthique vinculée à un compromis politique avec la vie et avec les planètes.
Y tengo una última pregunta.
Inglés, francés, español. Yo hablando francés, tú hablando español.
En español, porque mi inglés es malo. Hay una cuestión, una pregunta fundamental en la democracia ecológica. La cuestión de la representación de ciertas categorías de personas que a veces todavía son dejadas de lado. Pienso en particular en los jóvenes y las poblaciones indígenas. Je voulais avoir votre avis là-dessus, Daniela, Cory, Pedro, notamment dans le monde latino-américain. Mi pregunta es la siguiente. A diferencia de la democracia de la antigüedad, la democracia greca. La democracia ecológica logra representar suficientemente a todas las poblaciones, según voy. ¿Y cuál es el papel de lo digital en esta representación?
Maga, contéstale en español para que practique.
No, esta se la dejo a Pedro, ya, no, para repartirnos la responsabilidad.
¿Es posible hablar en español?
Bueno,
¿No?
sí, bueno, y si no, digo, Pedro, ¿quieres intervenir con alguna reflexión sobre el tema de
Sí, a ver.
la inequidad?
Yo creo que la democracia ecológica, el poder que tiene es que el planteamiento que parte de una cultura del cuidado, una cultura del cuidado del planeta, conlleva que no puede haber personas excluidas. El planeta lo es todo y nosotros estamos en el planeta. El entender el planeta como casa nos lleva a la obligatoriedad de que todo el mundo, cada persona es necesaria. Es fundamental ampliar la idea de que es una democracia basada en el cuidado de todos nosotros y nosotras. Esa yo creo que es la potencia, es el necesario trabajo de ampliación de la cuantía de las personas que van participando.
Hier, nous parlons de la inégalité, de la iniquité, de l'injustice. Tous ces peuples du planète qui n'a accès à la technologie, mais n'y a accès à la culture básica.
Merci. Muchas gracias.
Indudablemente, eso está claro.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias, Pedro, Daniela, Cori. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.